Hey everybody, my name is jakejonking, and I thought I would share with you guys, like I do every year, my top 20 songs of the year. So I'm doing it a bit early this year. I'm very busy at the moment. I have another YouTube channel now that I post more frequently on. It'll be in the description below, and all of that. But I thought I would share my top 20, even if this doesn't go out to a lot of people. I thought I'd share it because to me it's important. And so let's start on number 20, the song "New Shapes" by Charlie XCX. Charlie XCX was the second most listened to artist on my Spotify this year, and I love it. I love this album, Crash, and it's beautiful. It's great. Charlie is such a talented individual with such a great catalog of music spanning back probably like 15 years or something like that now, and this is a very good album. It's a very good album. I'm a big Charlie fan. I really like her Lockdown album, and I liked the actual album Charlie, and I liked this one too. Yeah. So number 19 is a song that has gotten a lot of hate. I don't personally understand why. I really like the song. I think it's really catchy, and I like it a lot. Lyrics are a bit corny, but that's okay. Lyrics aren't everything. The song is "Middle of a Breakup" by Panic at the Disco off the new album Viva Los Vengeance. The actual song Viva Los Vengeance didn't make the list because I'm not a big fan, but I do like this song. And I think it's a nice written song. You know what I mean? And overall, I love the chord progression. It reminds me a lot of a couple songs, but it mainly reminds me of "Go Your Own Way" by Fleetwood Mac. And I've said that to some people, and they all seem to say the same thing, like, what the fuck, I don't hear that at all. But hey, it's just what I hear. Number 18 is the song "Hey Ben" by Hoodie Allen. This one's really new. This one's only a couple of weeks old, but I love it. I love the vibes of it, and I found it off of TikTok, and I know a lot of people could relate to this one. It's about a cheating girlfriend who, and then finding out that they're with someone else, and then going and telling that other person. Because of that, and because of the relatability, and because it made me laugh the first time I heard it, and I love their name, Hoodie Allen, I thought I should be on the list. Number 17 is the song "Goodbye" by Mammoth WVH, Mr. Wolfgang Van Halen, the son of Mr. Eddie Van Halen, the late, great guitar legend. This song is beautiful. Wolfie's voice is just so mesmerizing, and I just think Wolfie is such a great vocal. His type of singing style reminds me a lot of Linkin Park, and his music reminds me a lot of Linkin Park generally. And this song is just, it's brilliant. It is amazing. And I talked to my friend Ryan about this recently, and he said he's got to go check him out. So I agree, check him out, guys. It's great. Number 16, "By Myself Sometimes" by the band Brighton, one of my favorite bands of all time. They wrote my third favorite album of all time, self-titled Brighton record. I love this thing, and it is such a wonderful album, and I love this band. I think they're just so amazing, and I believe this is their first release besides Crush. This is their first release since 2017. It's Brighton, of course it's amazing. But yeah, so I love it so much. Number 15 is the song "Save Me From Myself" by the band the Goo Goo Dolls, one of my favorite bands of all time, probably my second favorite ever. Johnny Resnick is pretty old now, getting pretty old. Robbie Takak, I believe, is a little bit older than John even. But I think they're moving on really well, and I think the last couple albums they've had have been really quite strong compared to what a lot of people would expect. A lot of people know them for Name and Slide and Here Is Gone and obviously Iris. But I reckon they have potential to have some more hits if they keep going in the right direction. So yeah. Number 14 is the song "Call Me Back" by Chase Atlantic. Funny story, I'm actually going to see Chase Atlantic on the 10th. So Chase Atlantic, this band was really big when I was in primary school, late primary school, early high school, because I discovered them from songs like Vibes, and later on songs like Right Here, and of course they became famous with some more songs I don't really like that much, but I really like this song, and I love the message. Very sad, relatable song, I reckon. So yeah, I love it. Number 13 is "The Rose Song" by one of my favorite artists, Olivia Rodrigo. I love this song. It's from High School Musical, and it was just such a lovely addition, and I feel like this year, with that song and all, it deserved to be up there, and it deserved to be one of the best songs that came out this year. I love it. Nothing more I can say about Olivia that no one else has said. She'll keep being on my list because I love her. Number 12 is What You Think About Me by Charlie XCX. This is my favourite song off Crash, although it's technically on the deluxe version. I feel like this is a really deep song. I feel it delves into the realms of, violence. Not being someone who has suffered like that myself, I can't imagine how much pain these people would go through, and simply put, this is just such a good song. I love it. Number 11 is She's All I Wanna Be So Bad by Tate McRae. Tate McRae had a friggin' amazing year this year, releasing her first major label studio album. Oh my god, this song was all over the radio. I remember hearing it, driving and being like, is that Tate? And later on I'd look up the lyrics online or whatever, I'd be like, and it's her. And I was like, Tate, I remember. She was really popular. She was at the top of one of my lists a couple years ago. Suddenly you're asking for it back. Could you tell me where'd you get the nerve? And I loved it. And there's more Tate actually later on in the list. What a great year that she's had. Honestly, just incredible. Number 10 is Matilda by one of my favourite artists, Harry Styles. Now, big thing to say here, Harry Styles doesn't have a single bad song. And I mean that. There's only a few artists I can think of that are up to that tier. Of course, a lot of these other artists haven't released as much music. Have released a lot more music than Harry has. So maybe in a couple of years Harry might slip down a bit, but that's okay. This album, Harry's House, beautiful, amazing, just wow. I was blown away by it, honestly. I've listened to this album a lot of times, so I feel I'm good at critiquing it. And my favourite song off of it is definitely this song, Matilda. What a brilliant song. And I've played this one a couple times at my gigs over this year. I've been playing a lot more this year, and this song has been requested a lot. So I love it. Number 9 is When You're Gone by Shawn Mendes, specifically the acoustic version. I love the normal version, but it was played to death. The acoustic version feels like it has a bit more airiness to it, a bit more reverb, a bit more like it's been recorded in an open space, a chambery, echoey, bouncing off the walls type sound place. Shawn Mendes used to be really good. I loved his first album. I thought that was such a pivotal moment in not just his career, but in pop music, you know what I mean? That he was kind of the John Mayer of that era, but now I feel he's kind of slid into a different type of, he's not as much trying to be like Ed Sheeran or John Mayer. I feel this song goes into the realm of Olivia Rodrigo and Tate McRae and Halsey. It's great. I love this song so much. So yeah. Number 8 is I Wanted My Heart to Break by Teddy. Yes, like all of you, found this one from TikTok. Some of the really high notes at the end of the song are just, wow, magnificent. And there's some really nice harmonies in this song. I recommend everyone goes and listens to it. Number 6 is Second Born, acoustic by Third Eye Blind. I am cheating a bit because this one technically was written about 15 years ago, but it was only released on streaming service. I love Third Eye Blind, but this song is just so sad to me, and I've never experienced this myself. Obviously, Stephen Jenkins went through some stuff with his brother Henry, and it's just a sad song, Growing up alone is hard, I can imagine. It really is. Now we're up to the top 5. I'd like to say real quick before we continue on. This video is sponsored by... No, it's not. There is an accompanying Spotify playlist in the description. Every year there's one of these. Feel free to click on, and let's go to number 5. Number 5 is the song Chaotic by Tate McRae. This song is beautiful, and I feel it's very real and very raw emotionally piano ballad. This is my favorite song off this album, obviously. As it should be for a lot of people. I believe it was the last single off of the album too, or it was definitely the last before the release of the album. And I just don't feel it gets much better than that song, to be honest. I just feel it's such a beautiful song with such a beautiful message and such a captivating lyric with Foot on the Brake. It's making me car sick. That's just such a gives me chills, man. I love it. Alright. Right to the top 4. Number 4 is Sledgehammer by Nothing Nowhere. Harkens back to the days of his biggest hit, Hammer, off of the album Ruiner, which is my second favourite album of all time. I think this is such a lovely album with such a great production on it. And this was the first single of his to come out this year, and Sledgehammer, what a lovely song. I felt that the lyrics harkening back to Hammer were just very nice touch. and it's just a lovely song. Number 3 is Memory Fracture by Nothing Nowhere. Once again, this is just such a brilliant song. Joe is just such a poetic writer, and the depression that Joe faces is very clear in a lot of his songs, and he's very open about how he expresses his angst and love of music in his music. For example, he's a big fan of bands like Census Fail and American Football and Linkin Park and Dashboard Confessional, and well, it's just such a poetic song, and it's so beautiful. Number 2 is the song Cyanide by Nothing Nowhere featuring Pete Wentz. I know he said before that Fall Out Boy is one of his favourite bands, and of course doing this as well as doing Church with Fall Out Boy in 2019 would have just been a dream come true. And this song is so brilliant. Like, I love this song so much, and it invokes some feelings that you just can't quite capture in everyday life, in everyday music that you hear on the radio. That how do you get any better than that? See, it wouldn't be a jakejonking list if it didn't have a glaringly bad omission, not to mention the fact that I literally forgot one of the songs. Like, it was pretty bad of me. But number 7 was actually the song Anti-Hero by Taylor Swift. Of course, everyone knows it. It's probably the most popular song in this whole list, except for one that's in the honorable mentions, although this one may even be a bit more popular than that one. I love this song. It captures the essence of like classic Taylor perfectly, and I just love it. I'm sorry, it's just so good and it's so addicting. I'm sorry, I'm such a pleb, but take it away, Jake. Now, before I get to number 1, I'd like to go through some honorable mentions. Of course, we're going to start out with Foundations of Decay by My Chemical Romance. Their first song in 10 years, 12 years, something like that. As It Was by Harry Styles. I Hate My Favorite Band by Nightly. Really great song. Loved You a Little Too Much by The Maine. Something Loud by Jimmy Eat World. Bite Me by Avril Lavigne. Great album to come out this year. Big comeback for the pop punk Avril. 5150 by MGK. Don't Hit Me. I really like MGK and have for a long time. Power of Right by Eddie Vedder. Wow, what a great ukulele album. No, I'm just kidding. It was such a good album, and I love it so much. I love it so much. Eddie Vedder's solo album. Take My Breath Away by The Weeknd. Reasons to Live by Pale Waves. Empty by Boys of Four, one of my favourite bands this year. And they were number 1 a couple years back. No, they were number 2 a couple years back. Almost number 1. And After Hours by Charlie on a Friday. Now, number 1... Misery Syndrome by Nothing Nowhere. Top 4 Nothing Nowhere. Honestly, I thought it was going to be a top 5. I thought he was going to release another song before the year ended and it was going to be in the top 5. Misery Syndrome by Nothing Nowhere. Wow. Just incredible, you know? And the writing is so mid-2000s. I love it so much. And one thing I forgot to mention, featuring Buddy Nielsen of the band Census Fail. What a fucking dream that must have been. And this song feels so 2004 era Census Fail. Like, rum is not for the drinking, it's for the... Yeah, it's not for the burning, it's for the drinking. Songs like that, I used to love that song. I used to love that album. This song is just so 2000s, and that is probably like the biggest this is probably one of the biggest compliments I can give it, since I'm such a big 2000s fan. I love the 90s too. But this song is just so heavy for Nothing Nowhere, and it blew me out of my seat. It gave me chills, and it was already winter. I had COVID at the time when this song came out, late August, and I was just so many chills when this came out. And you can't get much better. You can't get much better than Misery Syndrome. I think that it's the greatest song to come out this year. And yeah, Nothing Nowhere, keep doing your thing. Anyway, thank you all for watching this year's top 20 favourite songs. I will see you all next year. Have a good time. I will see you all later. Bye bye. See you all. That's not English.